Welcome to this episode of the Brand Gravity Show, where we explore the intersection between branding and psychology. I'm your host, psychology-driven brand strategist Kaye Putnam, and today we are exploring how brands can show up in a live event, how they can create an experience in a live event, and also what it takes as an entrepreneur, as a human, particularly as a woman in the context of this interview, how to create space in your life to rejuvenate and to recalibrate, to know exactly what you want from your life and your business. I am incredibly excited to bring you Mia Alsup. I attended one of Mia's events here in Greensboro, North Carolina, back in February, and was blown away by the absolute impeccable attention to detail and to the experience that she created in this event. So she has an event coming up in the fall in a suburb of Greensboro that is still accepting registrations. And I wanted to make sure that I had her onto the podcast to share her genius in this area. And for those of you that are feeling called to create some more space in your life, to check it out and to sign up for the fall event. Mia is the founder and chief experience officer of Power in Your Pause. Her goal is to provide an experience that allows women access the power in their pause. She's a RYT-200 Certified Yoga Instructor, Certified Mindfulness Meditation Instructor, and Tier 1 Certified Baptiste Instructor. During her retreats, she enjoys leading empowering yoga practices, relaxing meditations, and life-changing soul care sessions with personal growth and development exercises. When she's not teaching or practicing yoga, you can find her spending time with her family, riding her Peloton, curating playlists, listening to podcasts, planning their next trip or gathering, being a local tourist, reading, or napping. Let's get to the interview. So Mia, thank you so much for making the time. I know that you are as busy as I am. For those who haven't had the pleasure yet, can you introduce yourself and what your business is?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I am Mia Alsup, and I am the founder and chief experience officer for Power in Your Pause, which is a women's wellness and soul care retreat business. So I design and host retreats that benefit the mind, body, and spirit of all women through yoga, meditation, and soul care.
Yes, and I had the amazing privilege of attending Mia's last event here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and it was impeccable. So I knew that I wanted to have you on and have a conversation about not only the benefits of making the time and making the space to do something like this, which is no small feat, but also what was kind of going on behind the scenes as you designed this experience. So let's dive in. First of all, the name. I love the name of your business. What was the journey of coming to that name, Power in Your Pause?
Yeah, thank you. I love it too. I always knew that I wanted to name it something with pause in it, because I feel like that's truly what a retreat is. It's pausing your life. It's pausing what you do day to day so that you can step away and reflect and experience something special and then return and press play again. So, and then I don't know if I was reading something or listening to something, but I had this like epiphany that combined with with power, it felt so, for lack of a better term, powerful to put those two together, to know that this is what the benefit of pausing and the power that you get from that, from giving yourself that space and what you experience going forward. And then I specifically named it Power in Your Pause as opposed to like Power in the Pause, which actually gets confusing. Sometimes people mix it up because it's not just the pause, it's yours. It's, you make this space for yourself and you benefit for this. Others do too, by virtue of you doing it, but it's for you. And you have to commit to yourself to make it happen. So that was the impetus of that.
I love it. What results have you seen in your own life from taking that time to pause?
I feel like I daily have a reminder that whether I tap into it, or I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably pause in that situation to react better, or take my own advice sometimes. It's tremendous. Like the experiences both in my teaching and in my parenting and my marriage and my home, just like really looking at it from a perspective of having space for me and knowing that space for me benefits all of those things, my work, my family, all the above.
Yes, 100%. And that's such a good reminder too. It's important, I think, to make time for the big pauses like you do on a retreat, but it's also in the day to day. It's having a bit of space in that reaction time, or just carving out a bit of space for yourself each day. I am a much healthier, better Kaye when I do that. And it's such a good reminder.
1,000%.
Yes, I think that we often get into business for the things that we need ourselves. Was there like an experience that you had, or what inspired this retreat business that you're building?
Yeah, so a combination of all the different chapters of my life. My whole life, I've loved creating an experience for people. So it just kind of fell into place. But I knew that was something that I loved. I knew that yoga and wellness was something that I loved. I knew I loved creating community with specifically for women and with women, and then connecting with myself is important. I know women connecting with themselves and then with other women that they may know, they may not know, may see in the grocery store, but then they're like, they experience this. I know I got a lot of feedback. They experienced this retreat with those women that they see in the grocery store, and they're like, wow, we're all the same. So those things combined, the creating an experience, developing this experience from the moment you walk in, or the moment you sign up and then walk in the door to, 3 months later when you may get a letter from yourself from the retreat. That whole experience is something that I've always loved. And then tied in with the yoga and meditation and all the wellness and creating that for women to connect with themselves and each other. Oh, I love it so much.
Oh, I know, Sam. Oh, and it was such a gift that it was local. I mean, it's absolutely worth traveling to these events that Mia puts on. And I hope that this inspires some people to attend the event that's coming up. But yeah, for this to be in my backyard, I felt like such an incredible gift, because I've only ever experienced the quality of events that you put on when I've gone like across the country, or, to places. Like I've attended a wellness resort before, and your event was at that same level of quality and care and just incredible experience. So what you're creating is really, really special. And I'm so excited that I get to be a part of it. Can you give some sneak previews of what's coming up in the fall event?
Yes, absolutely. So just tying back to what you said. So I have also attended some of those resort retreats, and they're so just magical. And that is something that I've pulled from in my experience of those types of places, that really I want to create that magic on an accessible level. So I'm so glad that you see that. So yes, so sneak peek, I lead the morning and this fall retreat is at Summerfield Farms, which is a beautiful venue. I like to mix up for the local events. I like to mix up the venue and the speakers just to keep it fresh. And so someone like you, Kaye, can attend and not feel like, oh wait, didn't I just do this a couple months ago? So the retreat will be at Summerfield Farms. I lead the morning with yoga and meditation and soul care. So soul care is, yoga and meditation is pretty self-explanatory. But soul care is basically personal growth, personal development type exercises that I present to the group. Each woman kind of journals, thinks about it themselves. They partner with somebody sitting next to them, somebody they may know, may not know, talk about it. We share with the group. So it's very collaborative. It's very introspective, a lot of like personal inquiry work, which I love. And some people, it's way outside the comfort zone, and that's okay. I feel like that's kind of the point of it, is to give you access to something that you may not think about that might open a door for you mentally, emotionally, in your relationships, whatnot. So like I said, I lead the morning with those things. This time around, we have the Enneagram specialist coming back from our February retreat, and she's doing 2 sessions. So those will be during lunch both days, because everybody's like, we want more Enneagram. And I know you are a big Enneagram fan. So as a fellow 7, I know you can appreciate it.
I guess.
Yes. So she will be back for 2 sessions, which I'm very excited about. And then in the afternoon, it's a little bit different than last time. So we will have it's kind of like breakout groups. There will move over to some cottages, both the whole group. And then we'll split into 2, and half the group will do some workshops and half the group will do other ones. So I have workshops from Care natural beauty product woman who locally that she'll be doing some facial steam workshop. And then we have a hypnotherapist coming and doing a session with the group, which will be cool and definitely outside of most people's comfort zone. I have a interior designer who is world renowned and just really magnificent, really cool work. And so she's coming and giving you the tools to we're going to do some mood boards, some tools to make your life inspire your home and your home inspire your life, to teach the women those types of things. Let's see. We have an artist who's coming and doing some abstract art workshops, which will be really cool. And that will be spread over the 2 days so that it'll have time to dry from day 1 to day 2. So that'll be fun to see that evolve over the 2 days. We have a Chez Jeunesse, which is a restaurant in town. The owner is coming and doing like a charcuterie board food prep workshop combined with a table setting workshop. So giving you the tools to how to set a table, and then tying that in with, because their whole mission is to give everyone a seat at the table. So whether there are, people that have disabilities and intellectual disabilities that need work, she has an amazing nonprofit also that she leads that does this work. And so she's going to kind of give people the physical, how to set the table, and the relational, how to give everyone a seat at the table, which is a really cool workshop, I think. So yeah, I think that is everyone. I might be leaving somebody out, but yeah, it's going to be really, really cool and really special. So,
and who did you design this event for? Like, who is that woman that this event is perfect for?
Yeah, so it's someone that wants to take a day, 2 days to really step away and turn into themselves, like turn inwards towards themselves. It's for someone who likes to try new things and is open to these new experiences that they may know of this interior designer, but they've never had the chance to work with her. So they're like, oh, that would be cool. Or I've never thought about doing hypnotherapy, but sure, why not? And women that really are excited to connect with other women and are looking to, my yoga and meditation is absolutely no prior experience needed. So someone that's looking to move their body, but not looking to go to this like crazy power class that's going to make you, be sore for the next week. Like, it's just something to get you in your body so that you can really turn inwards and focus on yourself. So yeah, that's the woman I'm looking for.
I love that so much. And I mean, everybody that was at the last event was just an amazing human. You did such a great job. And I think that naturally happens when we show up as our true selves and are embodied in our own brands. People gravitate to us that are just naturally really great people. And that was certainly true of the last event. I'm excited to see who's at this next one and who else joins the event. I would love to ask though, as an entrepreneur from the business side of things, like, what's your process of taking care of literally every detail? Like, how do you map out an experience that is so impeccable? What does that look like in your brain and in your process?
So from the beginning, I go into just like researching specifically for the local ones. I'm researching the vendors that I want to partner with and creating this experience that feels very curated, very intentional. So there's not like these random vendors that are like, I don't really get it. So they all are different but they all complement each other really well. So I start there and start with outreach there. Super organized and love a Google sheet. So I have this one spreadsheet that I map out timelines and budgets and who I've reached out to and who I've heard back from, and catering, and knowing that all feels also intentional, because even though it's not somebody that they're hearing from, like, we're not going to have burgers at burgers and fries at the wellness retreat. I mean, I love a good burger and fry. Pizza is my favorite, but we're just going to have something that feels a little more in line. Oh, which reminds me, one amazing vendor that I had forgot to mention Tula Wellness. She's in Wilmington, and she is a non-diet dietitian who is phenomenal. And she will share with us the ways to feed and honor your body in a way that feels true to you. So that
Amazing.
And that's what reminded me, because no one should, feel any shame or guilt for having pizza. We have Pizza Friday every week, and that is the best thing. But something, the lunches at the retreats feel in line with the experience. So something like that. And then really mapping out the timeline from arrival to departure is something that I spend a lot of time on, and to really make sure that it feels not too much time, not too little time. It just flows. That is my goal, is to feel like it flows. And that is spending time on the timeline. I was very involved in the planning of, we had a wedding planner that we worked with when I got married a bajillion years ago. And I was very involved in the timeline, and I loved it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but something that I really enjoy. And so that is a big part of this process. And then just making sure that all the vendors feel loved and appreciated and honored, and giving them an equally powerful experience, because they all attend the retreat as a guest in addition to their presentations. And just kind of working with the venue. I loved kind of touring different venues and finding the one that felt like the right fit for this group of speakers in this time of year and whatnot. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Amazing. It does. Yeah. I love all of that. What were the biggest lessons that you learned after your last event?
Yeah. So longer bathroom breaks between sessions. Something so silly, but
the small things.
The small things. I mean, that was like, I felt, and then, I had a charcuterie board on the second day right before a Pure Barre session. So everybody's like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. So we're not doing that again. I mean, I love the charcuterie board. It was phenomenal. The Pure Barre session was great. It just, those two together just didn't really make sense. And just going through the different exercises that I lead in the soul care, getting feedback from the guests, knowing which landed and which didn't. It didn't necessarily mean that they were good or bad. And there was a wide spectrum of opinions, and which is good, meaning they all landed for somebody well, and then some not so much. So just knowing that everything isn't for everyone. It can be, and that's my goal, is to make sure that everybody feels welcomed and seen and honored, but knowing that not every exercise, every part of the retreat is going to be everybody's favorite, but everybody has a favorite part, and everybody has something that they leave and feel very, very validated and inspired. So that's my goal. So just knowing that there will be their opinions, and that's okay, is a part of it too.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Whenever we're facilitating anything, there's always going to be that wide range of experiences and perceptions that people have of the exact same event. Even if we all experience the exact same thing, we all are taking different things out of it. And that's actually a benefit. And it's a reason to include, different types of presentations or prompts or things, so that everybody has that opportunity to find their favorite. That's such good advice.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite journaling prompt that you like to recommend people do as an introspective tool? It doesn't have to be one that you're going to be sharing in the fall event, but I wonder if you can give us a taste of a journaling prompt that you think is particularly powerful.
Yes. So it's actually one that I did in February that I think is powerful if you kind of think about it. You don't think about it so much. So you just kind of go with it. So there's this concept of the board of directors. So it's the people that you allow into your headspace, you allow into your life decisions, allow into your what you want to do, what your desires are, what your passions are. And so journaling and really thinking about who those people are that take up space in your brain, in your heart, in your spirit, everything, journaling those people, who they are, how they either hold you back or how they lift you up. So understanding, and this is kind of I did an exercise for a training once that it was really thinking about, you did like a friend audit every year. This woman said, do a friend audit every year, and to see what, if there were people in your life that were holding you back or lifting you up. So really giving you the space to know that these people are for you, they're energizing you, they're not, because the 5 people that we spend the most time with are who we become or who we are. So it's really thinking about you knowing your own self in a way that these people that are your board of directors or are your biggest cheerleaders or your biggest fans are, that they're not going to hold you back from something that is something that you need and want, is something that you know is something that you're passionate about, that you're excited about. So I really like that exercise. I don't know that that's necessarily my favorite prompt per se, but that's what popped into my head as something that, an exercise that I really, really like thinking about, because we spend a lot of time with these people around us, and knowing that we are our best self because we're supported in that way to be that person, and us for others.
Yeah, such a good point. It's so interesting because I feel like you don't even necessarily need to know what to do with that information, but like journaling on a prompt like that gives you awareness, and things start to unfold it by itself, or start to work the way out as it should by itself. Have you had that experience, or have you had to be really intentional about taking action after journaling and getting new awareness?
No, I think that that's a really great point, because that actually was one exercise, which I hesitated to bring that up because that was one that was not everyone's favorite. But I think it's really important because of what you just said, because they were like, well, what do I do with this? And I think that that's the point. Like, you're not necessarily, people want a list of things to check off and things to accomplish, or people to talk to, or things to do, or they want direction. Like, okay, this is my map of what I should do. That is a prompt that doesn't give you that. It just makes you think and makes you reflect. And it's not necessarily like if you wrote down those people and whether they are, lift you up or hold you back, or 6 months later, it may be different because you've thought about that. You've had those conversations with those people. Like, I don't feel totally supported in this relationship. And then it changes because you've done the work. You've brought it up to them. They may or may not be doing the work, but just by you having this conversation opens them up to that possibility of. So it is something that is not action items that I can check off the list of things that I can do. It's something just to think about. And I think that sometimes that's the greatest place to start. And it makes you feel a little uncomfortable because you're like, well, what do I do with this information? I don't know. It's a necessary part of the process that you just kind of dig into different aspects of yourself.
I love that. And sometimes it's even just an internal awareness that needs to shift. Sometimes it's not even a to-do list. And to bring this full circle, you have to create the space in your life to create that awareness. Like, you'll never come to that awareness if you don't pause. Where can people learn more about the fall retreats and about you?
Okay, perfect. So they can find us at Power in Your Pause on Instagram and Facebook, and for all sorts of promos and fun, inspiration for what you can expect on the retreat, or what you can expect from an experience like this.
Thank you, Mia, so much for making the time to be here and to tell us not only about the event and share a little piece of that, but to share about your process behind the scenes. It was so inspiring and amazing, and I can't wait for the next event. We had a little bit of trouble with the end of our recording, and I wanted to make sure that you have all of the details that you need to find Mia and to register for the fall event if you're being called to do that. So Mia is powerinyourpause.com. And then if you go to powerinyourpause/register, you can learn more about the upcoming events and sign up. I'm going to be at the fall event for sure. I already have my ticket secured, so we would be able to hang out together, which would be super fun. She's also at Power in Your Pause on Instagram, so if you follow her there, you can find out about different specials and see other content from her to help fuel your soul. Thank you so much for being with us on today's episode. I hope you enjoy Mia as much as I do. It is such a pleasure to know her. She has such good energy and she brings that to everything that she does. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, review this show. It helps so much, helps smart entrepreneurs like you find the Brand Gravity Show and to learn more about how to grow their business, whether their brand is showing up in person, in live events, online, or anything in between. It would be so cool if you could take a screenshot of you listening to this episode and say hello to Mia and I on Instagram. Mia's at Power in Your Paws. I'm at Kaye Putnam. And I'm curious, who is in your brain's board of directors? Did anybody surprise you that came up? Let me know in the comments or on social, and let's continue the conversation there.